Hey guys, I want to take time to make this video about movement screens. So movement screens are something, they're a form of a test that quality strength and conditioning coaches are going to use in order to write a quality program that's going to benefit the individual player. All right, so you're probably not going to see these in a lot of group high school weight rooms. You're not going to see this in travel ball strength programs, but it's something that should be done before you start a program and something that should be evaluated a couple times throughout the year. So for example, in pro ball, every org is different on what screen evaluations they use. Some use OnBaseU, some use FMS, others use a hybrid of both, some create their own, but we're all doing something in order to evaluate how the players move. Okay, so I'm gonna go over the tests that I like to use, especially if I'm working with somebody who's hired me to write an individualized program for them or something like that. These aren't specifically exactly like what I've done in the orgs that I've worked with, so I'm not gonna talk specifics about that. These are just what I use to evaluate the players that I work individually with in the off season. Okay. Ideally, such as in pro ball, we'll do a movement screen when the players report from spring training, all-star break, and then I know some orgs will do it towards the end of the season as well for the off-season programs. Okay, so I'm going to talk about several different tests, and I don't use every single one of these tests with every single player that I work with. All right. A lot of how I do it when I'm working one-on-one with someone is I choose the test, the battery of tests that I'm going to do based on their position, based on what they've told me they need, based on what they've told me their coaches are saying that they're lacking, and based on what I see from test to test. Okay, so there's a couple that I'm going to have everybody do, such as the overhead squat, the lunge, the step over, the rotational stability, but then there's other ones in there that I'll do on a case-by-case scenario, all right, and we'll talk about those as we go through, all right? All right, just for housekeeping, I'm gonna title, I'm gonna have it on the screen what each test is. This way, if I've asked you if you hire me to write you a program and I ask you to do this test, this test, this test, and this test, and send me the video of it, you can skip right to it instead of watching the whole video. Okay, so the first one that I'm going to ask anybody to do is going to be the overhead squat. So I've got this nice FMS kit that's fairly expensive for what it is. I know at home you guys aren't going to have that, so I'm going to use a bat. I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you guys how to do it with minimal equipment that you're going to need, and just stuff that you can find around the house. All right, so I've got a baseball bat. Okay, I'm going to scoot back so you can see it. I'm going to put it directly on top of my head. All right, my feet are going to be squared up under my hips. I'm not out wide. My feet aren't turned out like I'm going to do a normal squat. Okay, feet are facing forward, squared up under my hips. Elbows are about 90 degrees. Okay, I'm going to reach straight up overhead. And in this position, I'm going to squat as low as I can, trying to keep my chest up. Okay, my mobility has gone down quite a bit from my days of Olympic weightlifting from the side. So, right there. Okay, so you got graded on a score of 0 through 3. 0 is pain, we stop. 1 is it. We'll go over 1, 2, and 3. So 3 is perfect. All right, we'll move on to the next test. So for me, I feel like watching myself back in the video here, and how I feel, knowing how this test goes, I feel like I would give myself a 2 on that. Okay. Reason being, if I go back here, you can see it from the side. All right. I'm not getting fully down as low as I can, and my chest is coming forward, and the bat is now in front of my head, okay? So I would need to keep that completely stacked to get a 3. So to test for a 2, what we're gonna do is we're gonna elevate the heels, all right? So I'm gonna use this board. You can use a couple weights, you can use a book, whatever you need to do to elevate about 1 inch off the ground for your heels, all right? So everything else is gonna be the same setup. Bats overhead. Feet are under my hips, facing forward. Now I'm gonna squat, and if you notice, Now my chest is up, back still overhead. I'm in a good squat position and back up, okay? So that would be a 2. Now, I'll do it from the side just so you can see it. And then I'll show you what a 1 would look like, right? So from the side, right there, all right? And that's your 2. 2 is because it doesn't hurt. I'm keeping everything stacked, but I have to have my heels elevated. All right, so a 1, I would still be coming forward like this, all right? Or I'm not getting depth, I can still be up, but I can't go deeper. I'm falling back, that would be a 1, okay? So that's the overhead squat test. If I'm asking you to do a movement screening, that one's definitely gonna be in. All right, so the next test I'm gonna ask you to do, most likely, is gonna be a step over. Now, again, I've got this nice FMS kit. I can measure the length of your tibia, which is the bone that goes from the ankle to the knee, which I would measure to a point right here where it would end into the knee. And then I would measure that out on this board and have a wire going across. So you have to step over it. Now, I know you guys at home don't have that, so we're just gonna make do, all right? And I'll do it the way I would expect you guys to do it, okay? So you're gonna take the bat, put the bat on your back like you're doing a back squat, all right? Your feet are gonna be together. Now I already showed you where the top of the tibia is, right here, okay? I'm gonna step up and bring my foot higher than that point and forward and touch the heel on the ground and rewind it, okay? So what that's gonna look like, okay. Now, that would be a 3, okay? I'm keeping everything balanced, my ankle's stable. I'm not opening up at the hip to come over where that wire would be. Everything is straight, touching the heel and coming back over, okay? I'm not feeling any restriction on that. Now, if I couldn't get my foot straight and I had to open at the hip to come over, or if I can't get my foot up where I feel is above that tibia, or I can't touch the heel and bring everything back straight, or I'm wobbling like that, if I have one of those deficiencies, then it's gonna be a 2. If I have multiple of them, it's gonna be a 1, and if anything is painful, then that would be a 0, okay? I'll do it from the side so you can see it at this angle too. It's important to start with the feet together. All right, my eyes are gonna be forward. Okay, here we go. Okay, again, that would be a 3. If anything, 1 wobble like that, opening up, all of that, one of those, again, is a 2. If I have multiple, then that's gonna be a 1, all right? And then you're gonna do it with the other leg as well. Okay, so the third test that I'm most likely gonna have you do, if you've hired me to do a movement screen or write a program for you, is gonna be the lunge, okay? So again, if you're here doing it with me or with somebody who's certified in FMS, they're gonna have a kit, everything's gonna be measured exactly. It doesn't have to be though, okay? Again, we're doing it without that just so you can see how to do it. But I want you to keep in mind roughly the distance from the ankle to right here, right? Top of the tibia, we can call it the bottom of the knee, however you want to call it. It needs to be roughly that distance, okay? Because you're gonna lunge out that distance, all right? So I'm gonna take the bat. All right, I'm right-handed. I always have the player start with the hand that they throw on. All right, so we're gonna get in a throwing type position here. All right, right hand's gonna be up, left hand is gonna be down. All right, so where I want that contact is I want the top of the bat to be up against the back of my head, my hand to be by the neck. All right, it's touching at the shoulders. My bottom hand is in the small of the back, and the bottom of the bat is touching the top of my hips. Okay, that's gonna be the position there. Now I'm gonna lunge out about the same distance as my tibia, and I need to maintain my balance. I'm gonna lunge in front of my back foot. So I'm going on a line, down, and back up. Okay, again, down, and back up. All right, that would be a 3. Okay, reason it's being a 3, my ankle is not wobbling. All right, my feet aren't getting all out of position. I'm not having to elevate my front heel. All right, I'll do it again for you. And Most importantly, the most common thing that I see is the bat's going to either lose contact and I'm leaning forward or something like that, okay? So if the bat loses contact, if I see any ankle raise, any instability, that's all going to, one fault is going to be a 2, multiple faults is going to be a 1, okay? And then I'm going to go on the other side as well. Now, when I'm looking at the scores of these, all of these, I'm looking for imbalances. Are you a 3 on one side and a 2 on the other side? Are you a 2 and a 1? Like, ideally, to be in the best position to reduce injury risks, you're going to be balanced, okay? That's what we're looking for. Okay, so now we're going to look at shoulder mobility. This one's going to be a little bit difficult to do without somebody else there, just for reference point. I'm pretty good at eyeballing it. A lot of coaches need to measure it, but what we're going to do on this one is either going to be a yes or a no. All right, we're gonna kind of eyeball it. So I'm right-handed. What I'm going to do, and I'm going to face this way when I do it, but I'm going to stand out to a T, thumbs under, then make a fist. All right, so I'm starting here every single time. All right, I'm going to turn around here. Right hand is going to go over, left hand is going to go under, and I'm going to try to touch them together. Okay, now this is about a 2. I don't want to see grinding to try to get there. All right, but if you can get like within the distance from the tip of your middle finger to the wrist, if you can get within that, that's great. Okay, that's perfect. If you can get somewhat close, like I just did, we'll say that passes. Now I'll show you what a fail looks like, because I had labrum, rotator cuff, and bicep surgery 4 years ago on my left shoulder, and I don't have nearly that same mobility as I do. Fortunately, it's my glove side. All right. So when I go back this way, left up, right under. Okay, that would be a 1. All right. So we're either gonna go yes or no. For me, right side up. This will be good. All right, we'll call that passing. This we'll call not passing. All right, so that's something that I would look for. Now, if I'm writing somebody's program and they have that, right, we're going to do a lot of shoulder mobility stuff with the left side to try to bring it even with the right side. Okay, so the next 2 exercises are going to focus on the core, which is what I'm going to use to write program for anti-rotational stability. All right, first one's going to be a push-up test. So it's going to be similar to a push-up, but not the way that I would ever teach a push-up. All right, so we're going to lay face down on the ground. Toes are going to be tucked under. Okay, I'm going to start in a push-up position. Okay, which would be right here. Now I'm going to have my feet together. I'm going to slide my hands up where my thumb is in line with the top of my forehead. I'm going to elevate the elbows to this position. All right, and I'm going to push up for a push-up. And back down. And I'll do 3 of them. Okay, now, without seeing it, I'm going to assume that was a 3, because that's generally what I get on it. So a 3 is everything is going to rise at the same time. Okay, my knees, my hips, my trunk, my shoulders are all going to rise together. Shoulders are obviously going to go up higher, but they're all moving together. It's not segmented. Okay, what a 2 would look like would be, if I have to, in order to do that, right, so the first test, say I'm here, and say I come here, and then up like that, that would be a fail. So then for the 2 test, I'm going to slide the hands down to about my jawline, get in the same position, and then try it, okay? And then if that still doesn't work, but it doesn't hurt, you're going to get a 1. If it hurts, then you get a 0. Okay, so this one is one that I don't have everybody do. It's for the anti-rotational stability, but nobody's ever gotten a 3 on both sides. And the 3 on one side is extremely rare. So the value in spending time doing it, when most people are going to get a 2, regardless of what we do, it's safe to assume is going to be a 2. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm actually going to use the board so you can see the proper way to do it, and then you can use whatever you've got at home. If I ask you to do this test, that can replicate this. you want to use a bat for it, if that's all you got, by all means do it. 2x4 would work if you have that. But we're gonna get in a crawling position. Okay, we're beast position directly over it. Thumbs are gonna touch, knees are gonna touch, and then my toes are tucked under on the back, and they're gonna touch. I want to do it in this angle so you can kind of see it though. Okay, so to start, I'm gonna raise both my knee, foot, and hand at the same time on the same side. Try not to lean, which I'm leaning, so I'm already getting a 2. All right, I'm gonna touch the ankle, the hand, extend all the way out, and then come knee, 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 out, and return. Okay, that's a 2. That's pretty much what everybody's gonna get. A 1, you'd have to remain with the opposite side, thumb, knee, foot touching the board, not lean, and go through that whole thing, okay? A 1, what a 1 would look like would be here. I come here, do that stuff, and kind of fall over, okay? That would be a 1. If you can complete the movement and you're leaning, just coming off the board a little bit, that's a 2. If you do everything lined up perfectly, 3. Go on both sides. So what I'd really be looking for on this one is how well can you do that movement? How little can you lean? And is there a big difference between what you're doing on the right side versus the left side? Okay, so do you fall over on the left side, but you can get through it with a lean on the right side, right? That would be something that we'd want to implement some correctional exercises to try to remedy. Okay, so this one is going to be the lunge overhead reach. This is something I only ask pitchers to do, and I don't ask all pitchers to do it. Based on how I see you move, I might ask you to do it though. All right, so I'm just going to demonstrate it. So I'm going to get in a lunge position here. Now, I'm a former pitcher. I used to be able to do this really well. I'm 44 now. My mobility is gone. But so anyway, with that disclosure, knees at 90 degrees, arms are going to go straight up. Keeping my elbows straight, I'm going to lean back or arch back as far as I can and try to get back as far as I can over my ankles. All right, this is not good. That would be about a 1 if I'm evaluating it. All right, so if I see somebody send me a video that looks like that, we're going to do a lot of back mobility work, extensions, and try to get a little bit more flexibility there. All right, so this one you're going to need a chair or a box, something that your knees are about 90 degrees when they're bent. Okay, I'm going to put my knees and my toes together. All right, I'm going to bring the bat into a front rack position with my arms crossed. All right, and here I'm going to rotate as far as I can in one direction while bringing my chin as far over my collarbone as I can in the other direction. Okay, and then I'm going to go the opposite direction. Okay, now what I'm looking for with this is your rotational ability. Okay, how far can you rotate in one direction, and how far can your neck rotate in the other direction? All right, so I'm looking for balance on that. If we're going to work rotational power, which a lot of people that ask me to write programs for them, they want a better bat speed, they want to throw more velo. Rotational power is extremely important. If we don't have the rotational mobility though, it's going to be very hard to develop rotational power, so we would have to correct that. Okay, this is the last one that I want to do. So we're going to look at some ankle mobility here. All right. First way we're going to do this test is you're going to make a fist, put it between your knees when we do this. Okay. You're going to sit up tall. Now you're not. I hope the camera's picking this up well enough with my ankles. But I'm going to rotate my feet in like that and try to get the outsides up as far as I can, and then I'm going to rotate my feet the other way and try to get the inside of my foot up as high as I can that way. So we're going this way with the foot, but I'm locking my knees in with my fist here, so I'm not moving at the hip. Okay, so we'll go in first. You see, it's not bad there. Going out. My ankle mobility is not bad. All right, this would be passing. Now, I've seen plenty of athletes, especially the pro level, that they can't get that outside up or the inside up. Okay, and then that's something that we've got to address, especially if you're looking at running faster, for example. All right, now the second way we're going to do this you're gonna do it both ways if I ask you to do this, is you're gonna take that hand out and then try to do it. So try to maintain your knees where they are, mentally lock the hips. Okay, so hands are just gonna be down at the side. I'm gonna rotate my ankles in, rotate my ankles out. Now on this, I'm also looking at how well you're able to keep your hips locked, okay? So if I'm not doing it very well, I'd be going like that to go in, and then I'd be going like that to go out, all right? I'm over exaggerating what I would expect to see, but ideally, you're gonna keep everything from the knee up in line, like that.